Alright, so the only records I have left, at least out here on the floor, that's the Time Life Giants of Jazz sets. I have all the sets in that series. I think there's like 30. And then I have just a very small assortment of records I wanted to keep. They're kind of the last survivors. That being said, I've had these ready to go out for years. I had been hoping to take these to a used bookstore many years ago, just never got to it. I wanted to take them to Nashville and sell them, but don't know if I'm ever going to get down there again. So I have 5 boxes of records here, bankers boxes of records. And I think I'll show these to you guys. I don't know if I'm going to show them all to you at once, but I might go by genre. We might hit the classical. I see some Bruckner or some Mahler right there. Some of these I've had for quite a while, but they've all been replaced with CDs. I can't play my records right now. I'm going to try to get one of those pile preamps. I think they only cost about $20. I got to order it offline or online though. You know, if Best Buy actually carried electronic things like that now, they don't carry shit anymore, so I can't even go up there and just buy things that I want because they suck. I don't even know why they're in business, honestly, but... So my record collection as it stands right now, as it exists out here and in the closet, is broken up roughly into 3 distinct parts. One are the records I bought at stores and are in mint condition because I only converted them to cassette. I taped them to cassette and always played the cassettes. Never got the records out. I kept them in pristine condition. The surfaces are perfect. And I would always take records back that had defects or were too crackly or were bad pressings. I wouldn't tolerate that. So record stores hated me, but, you know, I wasn't going to pay for something that was defective. And so my collection in the main is in great shape. I did get rid of a lot of records through the years, but I still have some left. Now this cabinet here used to be entirely filled with records only. Over time, I've gotten rid of some of them. So number one is records I bought back in the 80s primarily from different record stores. Now there was one set, the Time Life Giants of Jazz, that I got through the mail. That's kind of a subcategory, I guess you could say. The other category of records that I have are records I bought at this baseball card shop, and that's a very distinct lot of records because it consisted of a lot of easy listening and kind of a various odd assortment of classical and just different things. They were $1 a piece. I bought them in the 90s, I remember. It was a really interesting lot of records, and I didn't really want the easy listening ones, but they looked brand new, like they had been in a closet for 40 years in the dark, in perfect conditions. The covers were glossy and beautiful, and I'm like, I've got to get these because I'll never see records from this vintage in this condition again. The other distinctive lot I got was from the music library at the university here about 20 years ago. The music library at the university here got rid of all their records, and they had thousands. They had thousands of classical records and a few odds and ends, some world music and things like the Nunsuch Explorer series and things like that. And they had opera sets and all this stuff. Now these records were beat up. They were in terrible condition. I got them a lot of times for the covers because that, I think was it Debussy or Ravel? There was, I think, Daphnis and Chloe with maybe Charles Munch on RCA. The covers were done by Andy Warhol. Those were worth money just for the Warhol covers alone, even though the records inside are pretty beat up. I went ahead and got those. You know, these were donated by some of the most prominent elites in the city and still had their kind of owner marks on them, so that some prominent people of the city are on my records that are in here from the library. So that library collection, and they were free. They were just giving them away for free. I took away as many as I could carry. They replaced all their library holdings with CDs. Maybe they don't even have the CDs now because they can stream everything. They can buy a service, a streaming service. And the institutions tend to buy streaming services now. So anyway, so I got old records from the music library. So my collection, the music library, and then that baseball card shop had some interesting vintage stuff. We'll look at those. Right now my records are not in any kind of order. I think I just kind of tossed them in there. I'll try to identify where I think I got them from. Alright everybody, let's blaze through these. No particular order, the way these are arranged in the box. Tom T. Hall's Greatest Hits on Mercury. This is a compilation record of his first bits off of his first 6 albums back in the late 60s primarily. This was one of my favorite records to drive to. Like, I had it on cassette. I put this on cassette. I bought this at Holly Cook Booksellers in Louisville back in the 90s for $5.98. It was brand new. It's a great compilation record. It's his first compilation record and his best, because there was a volume 2 of Greatest Hits. Those hits turned into kind of novelty hits. Not as good as his earlier hits. His earlier hits, like That's How I Got to Memphis, which is one of my favorite ones. Just beautiful stuff, beautiful storytelling, great Americana. Tom T. Hall died about 2 years ago, I guess, very recently, maybe last year. I was surprised he was still with us, but he's one of the great country artists, one of the great songwriters. Love this album to death. Kind of would like to keep it if I can get the turntable going, so we'll see. We got the soundtrack to Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song, Melvin Van Peebles film, came out around 1971 or so. A very radical movie, and probably one that's you couldn't get made today. It has some pretty subversive and transgressive material in it. It's one of the Black Power movies. It's very raw, very angry. It's pretty awesome. And this is a great soundtrack. Earth, Wind, and Fire is on here, among others. I don't remember where I got this. I might have got this at a record dealer, but interesting item. Blues Brothers, Made in America. I think this is the second one they did. It's a studio album, I think. It might be live. Don't quote me. The band is... I love these. I like the Blues Brothers stuff. People say it's kind of a pastiche or a shtick, but it definitely is that, but it's great. Nonetheless, here's the movie soundtrack. Everybody loves the film. It's a lot of fun. Great Chicago movie. Great Chicago backgrounds in the 1970s and 80s. It's very much, as I recall, Chicago from this time, because I was traveling through Chicago a lot back then when I was in college, through Gary and all that stuff. Blues Brothers, this is the first album that they did, 1978, I guess. There's Paul Schaefer right there. These are all crack session musicians, some of the best of that era. This is so much fun. Everybody should be familiar with that, I'm sure. It's always, if you just want something that's fun to listen to, kind of celebratory, that's fun to listen to. Buffalo Springfield. Is this the second or the first album? I guess this is the first one from 1966 at Atco Records. Love this album. I used to play this in the car all the time on cassette. I just taped this record and put it on cassette. Now, here's the second one, Buffalo Springfield again. I definitely bought these new back in the 80s. Of course, they were reissues, but I guess this one came out in 67, 68. And then there was a compilation one that, I don't know if I have that anymore. I have all those on CD now, so it's not necessary for me to even have these records, but here's Boz Scaggs' Silk Degrees. I may have bought this back in the 70s when it came out. Everybody loves this record. It has Lowdown and Harbor Lights and Lido Shuffle. Beautiful record. Great cover. One of my favorite covers. Just so kind of atmospheric. It's got a real vibe to it. A classic album there. We got Dvorak Symphony No. 6 with Mstislav Rostropovich conducting, London Philharmonic. On EMI Angel, these pressings were kind of appalling that EMI Angel did back in the 80s. They're very crackly, very bad vinyl, but I enjoyed this performance. I liked the Dvorak and the Tchaikovsky symphony recordings that Rostropovich did back in the late 70s. They were some of the first classical records I ever bought, so I kind of imprinted on them a little bit. Very fine. A little bit of a thick performance, you know, not as maybe springy as some, but can't really fault it. Westminster early LP with Haydn symphonies done by Hermann Scherchen, or Scherchen. I'm always bad with pronouncing his name, but he was kind of a wacky conductor. You know, Dave Hurwitz on YouTube has talked about him many times. He had wildly fast tempos a lot of times, some interesting ideas on how to play the classics. Always fun. This was from that library giveaway. I got this for free. It's beat all to hell, but it's interesting to find early Westminster material like that from the 50s. I have Symphony Number 2, Bernard Herrmann, conductor, the film composer. Did some of these London Phase 4 stereo records in the 70s, I guess. London Symphony. You know, Ives. You know Ives. I think I got this one also at that music library giveaway. Oistrakh, David Oistrakh, violinist, doing the Khachaturian Violin Concerto. Moscow Radio Symphony with Aram Khachaturian, the composer himself conducting. This is from the Melodia Volts. It was when Columbia was licensing Melodia. I guess this would have been the 70s. I bought this at Vine Records. It looks like I bought it in 1983, according to that. This is a great performance of the Khachaturian. It's the first one I ever heard. And of course, that's music that he was made to play. Fast and exciting and very Russian sounding music. Janacek Sinfonietta and Prokofiev Waltzes with Gennady Rosh-Dispensky. This is more Melodia material. This was when it was licensed to what? Is this EMI? Yes, that's Angel EMI. This again was a library giveaway. So I haven't even listened to that one, I have to admit. I already have that music in other recordings. Here's another one I bought in the 80s, Khachaturian Piano Concerto with Entremont and Ozawa. This is not the best, ultimately. You know, at the time, it was hard to get this, so you'd get any recording you could find. There are way better performances of this out there. This is kind of not terribly inspired. Everything, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it per se, but it lacks some springiness. It's a little thick. It's on Columbia, Philippe Entremont and Seiji Ozawa, and I bought that at Four Seasons Records, which was, at the time in the 80s was Louisville's premier and really only classical record store. Sviatoslav Richter doing Liszt Concertos 1 and 2 on Philips. I had this on CD. I've had this on CD for many years. This is another library giveaway. Kind of a cool thing to find, though, on LP. You know, those are well-known performances. Mahler's 7th with Václav Neumann and the Czech Philharmonic. It's on Pro Arty. Licensed from Supraphon, the Czech label. You know, I don't remember this performance. I don't remember where I bought this. I don't recall where I bought that, but I'm trying to get these records to stay up and not fall down. So we got Mahler's 9th with Karel Anserl, and then the 10th is also on this double album with Václav Neumann and the Czech Philharmonic. Both of these are Czech Philharmonic. This is a great performance of the 9th of Mahler by Anserl. This is on the Critics' Choice Quintessence label. It was licensed from some other label. This was a budget line. You could find this like at Target and Airway and department stores, kind of in the budget bin. You could get these for, I don't know, about $3.99 or something like that. It was good for if you couldn't afford anything. This was also licensed from Supraphon, of course, the Czech label. Martineau's, what is this? Fantasies Symphoniques, Symphony Number 6. This is Karel Anserl and the Czech Philharmonic on Supraphon. I haven't heard this. I know that Václav Neumann did the Martineau symphonies, and they're okay performances. The recording quality on those varies, but this one I haven't heard, and this one would have been earlier, I guess. Maybe not. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear that. I'd never have played that record, to be honest. Nielsen's Violin Concerto. This is on Turnabout, the budget label. It's kind of like a Vox sister label. Tibor Varga on violin. This is another library giveaway. Jerzy Semkoff, Royal Danish Orchestra. Be interested to hear that. I've got other good recordings of that piece anyway in my collection, so I'm not too worried. Okay, next up, another quintessence. What was this licensed from? Also Superfon, I guess so. Yeah, this is the Czech Philharmonic again, with Smetacek conducting the Karl Orff Carmina Burana. I'm pretty sure this is a very good performance. I haven't listened to it in years. I recorded this to cassette, but I'm sure it's fine. I just don't recall it. I know I liked it. But can't remember much more than that. And an absolute stone cold classic recording, Paganini's Concerto No. 1 and the Wieniawski Concerto No. 2 for violin, done by Michael Rabin on violin, with Sir Eugene Goossens conducting the Philharmonia Orchestra. This is on Seraphim, which is the EMI Angel budget label. I bought this at Holly Cook Booksellers for $3.98, probably around 1985-ish, I would guess. And of course his Caprices recording is kind of the standard from that. And then we got Prokofiev, Romeo and Juliet with Dmitri Mitropoulos. Mitropoulos was always great with this kind of stuff. I don't know if this is mono or what. Columbia Masterworks. I think I got this from the library. I could have got this at Target. I don't know, because sometimes these things were cheap. Anyway, so we love Mitropoulos. Okay, we got a really interesting item. It looks like, is this another library giveaway? Yeah, I think so. Philadelphia Orchestra, Eugene Ormandy, doing impressionistic showpieces, Bolero, La Valse Pavane by Ravel, Debussy's Clair de Lune, Chabrier's Espagne, and Ibert's Escale Portugal. This is great stuff. I have these on CD. I think, is this the first mono recording? I'm not positive. This is going to be fun. I love this stuff. Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 2 with Leonard Panario, St. Louis Symphony with Vladimir Golshman. The days before Leonard Slatkin was the conductor. This is on that High Fidelity Capital FDS Full Dimensional Sound series. I'm sure this is fine. I don't remember listening to that. It's hard to mess up the Rachmaninoff Second Concerto. I mean, what can you do to ruin it? I don't think anything, really. Most people play it just fine. So, Rachmaninoff Symphony No. 2, London Philharmonic with Sir Adrian Bolt. I'm sure this is fine. This is on RCA. Again, this is another library giveaway that I got for free, and it's probably beat up, but that's okay. Rachmaninoff Symphony No. 3. We again have Adrian Bolt, Rimsky-Korsakos, Russian Easter Overture, again on RCA Victor, Red Seal. A freebie for me that I haven't listened to, but of course I've heard that piece many times from different people. Now, this is the interesting thing. I've got 3 copies of Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe with Charles Munch and the Boston Symphony. 3 of these. Now, these go for a lot of money if they're in good shape. These are not. These are not in good shape. However, they are worth something for the art alone. You can see the library marks on there. Gift of Philip Noir. He was a prominent musical patron to the music library. The music library did not care and gave away all the records that he and other people gave, which is kind of a loss for curatorship, in my opinion. I don't think libraries these days have any respect for anything, but I took them, so I do have respect. And now, I want to see, there's the RCA Victor Red Seal. They unfortunately put stickers on there, but I guess they had to prevent theft or whatever. I don't know if that helps, but yeah, we see some traces. Here's the Andy Warhol pencil drawing illustrations. They're very minimal, but they make the set valuable, apparently. And they're in here. They're not great. I don't know. They're not that good. I have to be honest. But, Warhol was a great marketer, and I have 3 of those, so I wanted to sell them for the art alone, but I'm just afraid that somebody on the internet's going to like say, hey, this record sounds like shit. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I told you, but people don't read descriptions. So again, we have Andy Warhol doing the design for this one on Romeo and Juliet by Prokofiev, with Munch again with the Boston Symphony on RCA. You can see the illustration. There's the illustration for this in here. It's kind of a booklet like the other one is. And there's a bunch of them in here. They're kind of faint. They're hard to see. But that actually makes the sets worth something. I don't know if anybody wants to make a deal on those. If they want the art and aren't going to complain about the records, maybe I can sell these to you on eBay or something. Just don't be, you know, expecting too much with the quality of the records. They're going to be crackly. Because, I mean, these were played on those terrible, you know, school portable record players with heavy needles and heavy arms over and over and over by students, you know, who probably didn't take care of anything. And that's what they're going to sound like. Okay, they were there for decades, since the 40s in a lot of cases. So, you know, they lasted from the 1940s to the mid-2000s. So think about a record being used publicly by students on heavy, vintage, old, terrible record players, and that's what you're going to get. So we got Ravel and Debussy's quartets, the string quartets, the Budapest String Quartet here on Columbia Masterworks. I'm sure those are just fine. Again, a library giveaway record. Another library giveaway record here. Rudolf Serkin doing Max Rieger's Concerto for Piano and Orchestra, Philadelphia Orchestra, and Eugene Ormandy on Columbia Masterworks. Another giveaway. I'm sure that's just fine. Can't be wrong. We got ourselves a Mercury Golden Imports. I love these covers with the golden bar framing design. Always very nice, impressive photos on the cover. Always glossy, nice glossy presentation. Imported from Europe, which makes it oh so much better. Mercury. This is Rimsky-Korsakov, Borodin works with Antal Dorati. So you're not going to go wrong with that. We have a very fine performance here of the Scheherazade of Rimsky-Korsakov, conducted by Pierre Montet and the London Symphony Orchestra. Quite a cover there. And these, again, this is another library giveaway. Very cool to have these covers at the very least. We got Scheherazade, Leopold Stokowski, London Symphony. I think this is the one he did, what, around 1970? Yeah, this is a great performance of Scheherazade. It's very strange, but in a good way. And there he is. Look at that. That's quite a back. All right, now we've got Scheherazade, an early digital Russian recording with Vladimir Fedosiev and a Russian Symphony Orchestra on Eurodisc. I think I bought this in Milwaukee when I was in college. I like this performance. The sound is kind of early digital. It's kind of what you expect. And I don't know. I think it's a good performance. I have it on CD now, so this is kind of redundant. We got a couple more quintessences in here. Quintessence recordings. This one looks like it was licensed from Melodia, of course. Rimsky-Korsakov Scheherazade with Yevgeny Svetlanov and the USSR Symphony Orchestra. This is a great performance. I have this on CD, though, and I don't know if I bought this or if this... Yeah, it says 4 Seasons, $2.99 special, so I did buy that. Rimsky-Korsakov, Antar Symphony No. 2, and Capriccio Espagnol with the Moscow Radio Symphony with Konstantin Ivanov, again on Quintessence, licensed from Melodia. I guess I bought this also at 4 Seasons Records. It still has kind of a mint wrapping on it. Can't say I'm familiar with that, even though I own it. I don't listen to the Antar Symphony that much. Black Composers Series, Volume 1 on Columbia, Chevalier de Saint-Georges, Symphony Concertante in G for 2 violins, Symphony No. 1, and String Quartet. This is something I got from the library as well. Juilliard Quartet is on here. Very nice. Byron Janis, Schumann's Piano Concerto, and with Stanislav Skorochevsky and the Minneapolis Symphony. This is on Mercury Living Presence. This is another record I got for free at the library giveaway. Friedrich Gulda, the great eccentric Friedrich Gulda, a man who was equally at home in jazz as he was in classical, gave some of the wackiest performances of all time in piano repertoire, and also as a conductor. I've got a DVD of him conducting. I can't remember what it was. I think it was one of the Beethoven concertos, and it's just so crazy. But he was great. He did a great sonata cycle. And I also have some of his jazz recordings. This is the Schumann Concerto for piano and orchestra. We got conducted by Volkmar Andre. Don't have too many things with him. Vienna Philharmonic, London Records. This is another library giveaway record. Now this is one I bought. This is one I bought at a record store. I think I might have bought this at the Mall record store. A Melodia licensed recording on Angel EMI, I think. Yes. This is a Shostakovich Symphony No. 12. This is a Yevgeny Mravinsky recording with the Leningrad Philharmonic. First stereo recording. I know everybody hates this symphony. I don't hate it. I think Dave Hurwitz makes fun of it. Yeah, it's, it's Soviet socialist realism music. It's pompous, it's bombastic. It's not the most subtle thing on earth, but it's fun. I think it's fun. I have no problem with it. Do I listen to it much? No, of course not. But I'm also not going to shit on it too much. Shostakovich Symphony No. 5. This is Dmitri Mitropoulos. I don't remember this performance, but I can't imagine that he does a bad job with something like this because he was so exciting a conductor. Philharmonic Symphony of New York. Of course, that's the New York Philharmonic's early name. This is on Columbia Special Products, a library giveaway item. Wouldn't mind listening to that if I can get my turntable hooked through the preamp that I intend to get. Bernard Herrmann conducts on London Phase 4 Stereo, Sibelius Finlandia, Dukas Sorcerer's Apprentice, Liszt Les Preludes, etc. London Philharmonic. I used to play this one. I made a recording of this on cassette. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It has that weird London Phase 4 Stereo separation on it. That is kind of a gimmick, but whatever. It is what it is. And we got Sibelius' Symphony No. 3 with Paul Kletsky, and the Violin Concerto with David Oistrakh, which would be the piece on here I would care about the most. 610 Erling is conducting Stockholm Festival Orchestra on the concerto. I think I ended up downloading this somewhere. I can't remember what I thought about it, but it's Oistrakh and Sibelius. You're not going to go wrong. Kusevitsky, Boston Symphony, Sibelius Symphony No. 2, RCA Victrola. Probably recorded in the 50s or 40s. Probably in the 40s. I'm sure it's fine. Don't know where I got this. It looks like I bought it. Oh, wow. I bought this at Target for 99 cents. That's awesome. Yeah, you could find stuff like this at Target back in the day, back in the early 1980s. I loved it. You could find records like that for $1 at Target. Can you imagine Target today selling something like that? Yeah, I think things have kind of gone downhill there. I hate to sound like an old man, but think about it. 40 years ago, you could buy a record like that at Target, man. It'd be like walking into Walmart and getting a record like that. Absolutely impossible. Sibelius Symphony No. 5, Georges Pretre and the New Philharmonia RCA. A library giveaway. Have not listened to that, to be honest. Don't know anything about the recording. I like George Pretre, though, in the things I have him doing. Richard Strauss Domestic Symphony, Symphonia Domestica, Fritz Reiner, Chicago Symphony. Fritz Reiner, this is his bailiwick. He's one of the great masters at this kind of music. This is a library giveaway on RCA. We have another Reiner doing Strauss, Richard Strauss, Till Eulenspiegel, Mary Prank's Death and Transfiguration on RCA. This is kind of a classic cover, kind of the jester guy. He's going to get his. You don't want to jest too much. It could lead to something fatal. Anyway, so we got Richard Strauss conducts Richard Strauss, also Sprach Zarathustra. This was done in the early 40s, I think, during World War II, if I'm not mistaken. It's in pretty dim sound. I love how they're like, theme used in 2001: A Space Odyssey. And then they put this on and they can barely hear it, but this is on Everest. I probably bought this also at Target for 99 cents. I like these Richard Strauss 1940s recordings. I have them on CD now, but, you know, they're not like going to be the ultimate performances, but they do have their own interest. Richard Strauss Alpine Symphony, recorded in 1941. This is on Seraphim. This is another library giveaway. So we're seeing a little bit of order in this collection, but I think they might be alphabetized a little bit. Igor Stravinsky Chamber Music, Kammermusik, Boston Symphony Chamber Players, and it looks like Igor Stravinsky himself is in the house, although it's the Boston Symphony Chamber Players, so I don't think he was actually there. The Octet is on here, which is a delightful piece. I have these on CD though, and I have those actual recordings on CD, so they're fine. They're great. Pierre Monteur, again, Stravinsky Rite of Spring, Paris Conservatory. I don't remember this. Do I have this on CD? Probably, but I don't remember. This is RCA. It's a library giveaway record. Another library giveaway record here. Stravinsky's Le Socle du Printemps. This is the same, Rite of Spring. This is Ernest Ansermet conducting the Swiss Romande Orchestra on London. That's quite a cover. You know, you got a bare boob there. This is probably something that somebody would have to put in a brown paper wrapper back in the 50s when they bought this. Like, don't look at what I bought, honey. So, they know what they're doing, those record guys. Alright, now we got something that a audiophile would probably want to have. This is a master recording. Is this audio fidelity? I think so. It's mobile fidelity, excuse me. Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab. Tchaikovsky's 1812, Romeo and Juliet, and March Slav with Andrei Previn London Symphony on EMI. I can't remember where I got this. I know it was cheap. It was $4.99. So I picked this up on clearance at some record store. Do not remember what or where, but I bought that one. That was not a free giveaway. Cannot tell you anything about the performance. I don't remember. I'm sure it's just fine. It's hard to mess up the 1812. And that stuff. Phase 4 Stereo Pop Concert Series. Again, another 1812 here. Conducted by Robert Sharples. Nutcracker Suite, also conducted by Sharples. London Phase 4 Stereo. This is the actual cover, I guess. There you go. The big cannons. 1812. Lots of fire, lots of chaos, lots of color. Very nice. Can't remember anything about that performance. I don't think I played that record. Tchaikovsky, Romeo and Juliet and the Tempest. Another Melodia licensed recording on Angel EMI. I'm sure this was a very nice cover when it wasn't beat up. You got a chick in bed, bare-legged. I guess that's supposed to be Romeo and Juliet. Oh yeah, the dude is in bed naked. It's hard to see. It's hard to see. Probably a good thing. So yeah, very seductive Romeo and Juliet cover here. And Evgeny Svetlanov, I mean, that's going to be an exciting performance, I'm sure. All right, now we're getting into the Tchaikovskys on EMI, the Angel that I bought. I paid a lot for this. I paid $9.98, and I did pay that. I think I bought this at a mall record store. This is Rostropovich doing the Manfred Symphony. I don't recall this one being a great Manfred, but I could be wrong. Here's another one I bought. Tchaikovsky's Second Symphony, Little Russian with Rostropovich, London Philharmonic, also Angel, EMI. I like this performance. It's heavy, but not in a bad way. It's just kind of more of a mid-tempo, not one of the fast-tempo ones like Dorati, for instance, would do. But I like it. I like that series of Tchaikovsky recordings that he did. Here's another one. Let me just get this one. Here's the Fifth with Rostropovich. I don't think this one was considered to be successful. In fact, I don't think I played this one as much. I don't think I was as impressed by his take on this one. But I've got it, and you know, here's Fedosiev's Tchaikovsky Symphony No. 5 with Moscow Radio Symphony, another early digital Soviet-Russian recording. Teldec, audiophile pressing made with Teldec vinyl by Europa Disc. Vox Cum Laude. I paid $10.29 for this. Bought this probably in the early 80s. I like this performance. I remember it being quite good, quite exciting. It does have a lot of digital harshness to it. And I have it on CD now, so I don't... If I ever listen to it, I would listen to it on CD, of course, but... Tchaikovsky Symphony No. 6 Pathétique with Henry Lewis and the Royal Philharmonic on London Phase 4 stereo. Now, this was in my parents' collection. This, in fact, was one of the earliest records I ever listened to. Probably back in the 70s, as far as classical goes. Now, my parents did not listen to classical. They got this from a guy who also didn't listen to classical. He just had a bunch of records that somebody gave him, and he didn't really listen to them. So he gave them to my parents, who also didn't listen to them. And then I went through them and started listening to them. So basically, this is one of those. These have been around since the 60s. And got very excited. I started listening to those records in the 70s. This is the Pathétique done by Konstantin Ivanov and the Moscow Radio Large Symphony Orchestra. Just so in case you were concerned about how big it was, this is the another Melodia licensed recording. It's ABC Classics. Now, I know I picked this up for a bargain. I'm pretty sure I paid like $1 for this out of a clearance bin. I think it was at a university. I think I bought this at a university, believe it or not. I like this performance. I like Konstantin Ivanov's recordings. Nobody ever talks about him. He was kind of like the guy before Svetlanov, who was like the main conductor in Russia. But people have forgotten him. Leadbelly's Last Sessions, Folkways Records, Volume 1. This is something I also got at the library giveaway. We should all be familiar with Leadbelly's Place in the Blues, History of Blues recordings. Here's another. These are sets, too, by the way. Here's another one. Library of Congress recordings, Alan Lomax. Also a library giveaway. So I have to say, I haven't listened to these records, but I've got them. I couldn't let those go. And that's it. That box has been completely depleted now. There it is, laying down. I'm going to put them all back in. We got more to go, and we're not going to do that now because there's too damn many, and you will have fallen asleep by now, I'm sure. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I know all you record heads love your records, and there you go. There's some record, there's some vinyl, there's some LP content.